my esteemed brother and sister judges, Learned Advocate General, President of the Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association, President of the Case Practice, Justice Sodhi remained as an editor of Indian Law Reports, Punjab and Haryana series for over a decade. He was also a part-time member of the law faculty at the Punjab University for 13 years and taught the subjects industrial law and tax laws. After successful practice for more than 25 years, in 1991, he was elevated to the bench of the Punjab and Haryana High Court. In 1999, the first ever Defense Pension Adalat was conducted at Chandigarh under the guidance of Justice Sodhi. Spot redressal of grievances at the High Court resolved a huge number of cases. The then Union Defense Minister, George Fernandez, lauded the project. In 2013, Justice Sodhi was transferred to Kerala High Court. In 2003, he was transferred to the Kerala High Court as a senior most judge. On 5th April 2004, he was appointed as the Chief Justice of this court and continued till 17/11/2004. After a short period of 1 year in Kerala High Court, in November 2004, Justice Sodhi was transferred as the Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court and retired from service on superannuation on 29th November 2005. Though the tenure was short, Justice Sodhi proved to be an able administrator concerning the entire judicial fraternity. I'm informed that he made prompt and effective action to fill up the vacancies of judges of Kerala High Court. It was mainly due to his efforts 8 judges were sworn in as judges of this court. Besides, Justice Sodhi took keen interest to speed up the construction of the new High Court complex in order to ease the crowded facilities in the old building. After retirement in the year 2005, Justice Sodhi was appointed as the presiding officer of the Securities Appellate Tribunal at Mumbai, and he held the post for 6 years. In December 2011, Justice Sodhi came back to Chandigarh, his native place, and handled arbitration cases as an arbitrator, presiding arbitrator, as appointed by the High Courts of Punjab and Haryana, Bombay, Karnataka, and Madras. The Honorable Supreme Court also appointed him as an arbitrator of a 3-member tribunal. In January 2013, Justice Sodhi was appointed as a chairman of a high-power committee set up to revise the Securities and Exchange Board of India Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulations 1992. He was also the chairman of the Takeover Panel of Experts since 2015 to make a recommendation to SEBI on applications seeking exemption from making an open offer under the regulations. As a judge and Chief Justice of this court, Justice Sodhi had delivered many landmark judgments. To quote a few, in George Kurian versus State of Kerala, reported in 2004 to KLT 758, while considering a batch of public interest litigations filed against calling of Hartal and general strike, a full bench headed by Justice Sodhi held, nobody should be compelled to participate in the Hartal or general strike, and that people who are calling the strike or Hartals are vicariously liable to pay damages. The bench also held that the state government is liable, and if necessary, the district administration should be given sufficient direction to avail paramilitary force to maintain public services if law and order problem arises by unlawful assembly of hartal or strike supporters. In Fact versus Gopinath Panika, reported in 2004 to KLT 455, while dealing with two writ appeals, speaking for the bench, Justice Sodhi held that Section 47 of Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities Protection of Right and Full Participation Act 1995 is mandatory for an employee after joining service incurs a disability has to be dealt with in accordance with the provisions of Section 47, and that his services cannot be dispensed with merely because he has suffered a disability resulting in his incapacity to work. During his tenure, everyone had absolute trust in his impartiality and fairness, which enabled him to command utmost respect from the bar and the general public. His open-mindedness, love, and patience, respect for others made him a humane judge. Justice Sodhi is survived by his wife, Neelam Sodhi, daughter Gayatri Sodhi, and grandson Siddharth. Along with the bereaved, we deeply mourn the demise of Justice N.K. Sodhi, former Chief Justice of this court. May his soul rest in peace.
The Honorable the Chief Justice of Kerala, Mr. Justice S. Mani Kumar, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Kerala, the President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Chairman of Bar Council of Kerala, President Kerala High Court Senior Advocates Association, President Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers Kerala High Court Unit, law officers of the state, Assistant Solicitor General, Senior Central Standing Counsel Taxes and other law officers of the central government, senior advocates, esteemed fellow members of the bar, Registrar General, registrars and staff of the High Court, staff of the Advocate General's office, advocate clerks, all other dignitaries joining online, ladies and gentlemen. Abraham Lincoln said, I quote, "It is not the years in your life that count, it is the life in your years," unquote. Today, we have gathered here to pay homage to Justice N.K. Sodhi, often referred to as a gentle legal giant, who passed away on 28/12/2021 after fruitful years of life, particularly low life on Mother Earth. Son of Justice H.R. Sodhi, a former judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court, his lordship commenced practice in 1965 after graduating in law from Punjab University. His lordship's practice was mainly in civil, constitutional, labor, taxation, transport, and corporate laws. Late Dr. Harbhagavan Singh, who had the distinction of being the Advocate General of the states of Punjab and Haryana, described his lordship as a shining symbol of honesty, integrity, and legal competence of the highest order. An obituary article by Sri Anil Malhotra, a Chandigarh-based practicing lawyer, recalled his lordship as a walking encyclopedia in his law specialization. His lordship was the editor of Indian Law Reports, Punjab and Haryana series, and was also a part-time member of the law faculty at the Punjab University, teaching industrial and taxation laws for more than a decade. To recall his lordship's own words, I quote, "My motto ever since I joined legal profession has been work, work, and work," unquote. Hard work pays, and his lordship's, in recognition of his legal acumen and advocacy skill, was designated as a senior lawyer by the Punjab and Haryana High Court. His lordship was later elevated to the bench there in 15/3/1991. Patient while hearing cases and always accommodative to lawyers, His Lordship always considered himself to be equally a member of the bar as well as the bench. That His Lordship often quoted the words of Charles C. Clerk, a judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals, that a judge was merely a lawyer who was benched, revealed that His Lordship never snapped his umbilical cord with the bar after being elevated to the bench. His Lordship, on being transferred from Punjab and Haryana High Court, assumed office as Judge of this Honourable Court on 24/11/2003, became Acting Chief Justice of this Honourable Court on 22/1/2004, and was sworn in as the Chief Justice of this Honourable Court on 5/4/2004. His Lordship was transferred as Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court with effect from 16/11/2004 and retired from therein. His Lordship's brief tenure of almost 1 year at this Honourable Court, often at the hem of affairs, first as the senior-most judge, then as the Acting Chief Justice, and later as Chief Justice, has left him an indelible mark on the annals of history of this Honourable Court. Our own former Advocate General, late M. Ragnar Singh, described His Lordship as someone who could disagree without being disagreeable. His Lordship subsequently served as the presiding officer of the Securities Appellate Tribunal at Mumbai for 6 years. Since 2011, His Lordship had been presiding over arbitration cases. In January 2013, His Lordship was appointed as the chairman of the High-Powered Committee for Revision of Securities and Exchange Board of India, Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulations 1992, to ensure the regulatory framework regarding the insider trading in the country. That unlike other such committees which go on and on for a considerable duration of time, which with repeated extensions, the said High-Powered Committee, which held its first meeting on 12th April 2013, finalized its report within a short duration in its last sitting on 7th December 2013, speaks volumes for the methodical work culture of His Lordship. Since 2015, His Lordship also been the chairman of the takeover panel of experts to make recommendations to the Securities and Exchange Board of India on applications seeking exemption from making the mandatory open offer that an acquirer has to make to minority shareholders. To quote Ernest Hemingway, I quote, "Every man's life ends the same way. It's only the details of how he lived that distinguished one man from another," unquote. The distinguished life and spotless career of His Lordship will certainly be long remembered. His Lordship is survived by his wife Srimati Neelam Sodhi, daughter Gayatri Sodhi, and grandson Siddharth. I share the grief of the family over His Lordship's bereavement and offer my condolences. May His Lord's soul rest in peace.
Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, other Honorable Judges of Kerala High Court, Registrar General, Advocate General Sri K. Gopalakrishna Group, Additional Advocate General Sri K. P. Jayachandran and Sri Ashokam Cherian, Director General of Prosecution Sri T. A. Shaji, State Attorney Sri Manoj Kumar, Additional Solicitor General Sri S. Manu, Mr. Joseph John, Bar Council Chairman, Srimati P. K. Shantamma, President, respected senior advocates, other dignitaries on and off the dais, law officers of state and central, court officers and staff of this court, clerks, and my dear friends. Justice Navdeep Kumar Sodhi is no more. A man who devoted his professional life to a cause of facilitating the administration of justice. A man who made a meaningful contribution in the field of judiciary and irreparable loss to the legal fraternity. Justice N.K. Sodhi was a son of illustrious late Justice H.R. Sodhi. Justice Sodhi got graduated in law from Punjab University in 1965. As a sought-after senior counsel in labour and company matters, he was ever available for guidance, tips of courtcraft, and guidance to emerging lawyers. He remained the editor of Indian Law Reports for over 10 years. His professional expertise as a lawyer led him to elevation to the bench in 1991. He held esteemed positions of Chief Justice of Kerala and Karnataka High Courts. Upon superannuation in 2005, he held office for 6 years at Securities Appellate Tribunal, Mumbai. His return to Chandigarh in 2011 saw him turning a new leaf and getting actively involved as an arbitrator. Numerous petitions challenging reduction of disability pension by controller, defense accounts of personnel boarded out of defense service led to first ever defense pension adalat in 1999 at Chandigarh under the able control of Justice N.K. Sodhi. Sport redressal of grievances at the High Court resolved a huge number of cases. Judicial temperament has been described as reflecting patience, open-mindedness, courtesy, tact, courage, punctuality, firmness, understanding, compassion, humility, and common sense. Justice N.K. Sodhi displayed all these virtues in abundance. He was an incarnation of the good qualities essential for a judge. He lived his life with his rules and ethics and stood them till the end, never influenced by fear of favor. Death is an inevitable part of life, and every one of us has to reconcile with this reality. Loss of men of eminence like Justice N.K. Sodhi will definitely create a vacuum in the legal field. During the COVID pandemic, many judges, lawyers, and eminent jurists have lost their lives. Justice N.K. Sodhi also lost his battle to COVID-19 and breathed his last on 28th December 2021. The memories of the late Justice N.K. Sodhi is certain to overcome the barriers of time. To live in the hearts we leave behind is not to die. May I take this opportunity to request your Lordship to direct the registry of this court to convey our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family. Thank you.
The registry shall convey the condolence message of the bar and the bench to the members of the bereaved family. Judicial work of the High Court shall stand suspended till 11 a.m. today.